See, they don't understand history. You know what I'm saying? God and history moving. Now, what we need to understand is our divine heritage. You understand? How we must disseminate, you understand, the ancient Ethiopian culture and take into context that language, as the King of Kings teach us, is the key of culture. You understand? So in order for us to reclaim that which we have lost, you understand, language is the key. You understand? That's why let's move to the next portion of this presentation right here. The basis or groundation of real freedom and true liberty. 1, land. 2, language. 3, flag. We need to have a knowledge of our land, language, and flag, you understand, in order to have the same right, you understand, respect, honor, authority that any race or nation or group of people. You understand? Black people, regardless of whether Barack Obama was elected or not, that does not change, you understand, the innate and intrinsic, you understand, default and short-circuiting, you understand, of the disobedience of the covenant that has in the state of curse. You understand? So when you come out of that, you understand, the basic foundation you need is land. You understand? What is our land? What is our language? What is our flag? So this is the basic foundation of our admittance or, quote, belief, end quote. Because in order to properly define belief, we have to first break down that word, not from an English etymological point of view only, but we have to now say, wait, the Bible has belief and believe. But what word was being used there in the Hebrew, the Masoretic? You understand? What word is being used there in the Septuagint? You understand? What word does the King of Kings use? And get to the foundation, to go down to the foundation, you understand, of what is the word. And when you come to the root word, you find the word amen or mamen, which means to admit as true and to have faith in to do. You understand? To admit as true and to have faith in to do. That's the root of mamen. So when one asks us, what do we believe? You understand? We understand that we're in the world, but not of the world. So those terminologies, you understand, it's excusable. People are going to ask, well, what do you believe? Or is this your religion? Now we have to define these terminologies, you understand, and retranslate, you understand, or go back to our root. What's the word religion in the scripture? What does that word mean in the Shemitic language? You see, we have to reclaim this language, land, gate, marish. You understand? It's very important. Now, our land is between the two rivers. How do we know this? And we're just going to go over this briefly. You understand? To make up for some lost time, to redeem the time. We live in days that are evil. We must redeem the time. And what's evil is that our people don't have a knowledge of themselves. And the access to that knowledge of themselves is few and far between. First of all, the land. Our land is between the two rivers. How do we know this? Genesis 15 and 18 show you between the two rivers, the rivers of Euphrates and the river of Egypt, which is also called the river of Ethiopia. If you look at this map, there's a map right here of Josephus, you understand, a so-called first century or so historian. He records, you understand, that when Jerusalem was overrun by Vespasian and Titus around 70, 68, it's like 70 AD or so, you understand, that many remnant Israelites, you understand, were able to flee out of Jerusalem and fled into Africa. Now we see this map right here, and we see this particular name right here, which says Judados. You understand? Judados. If you notice the location, it's right there, almost in the heart of Africa, beyond the river of Ethiopia. This is further historical documentation and proof. And see, it still has the artificial borders there, so you can see the artificial borders that have been drawn there today. But the real borders for our land is between the two rivers. Some would say, well, Israel, or the land of Jezreel, as we would affectionately call it, is our land. Or some would say Ethiopia is not our land, or Africa, we're not from. But then if you go to the word of the Almighty in Genesis 15:18, it'll tell you between the river of Egypt, the river of Ethiopia, and the river of the Euphrates. Between these two rivers, you understand, that is our land. Now our language is the royal Amharic based upon our Ethiopic Hebraic roots, and we'll go into more details. This is to give one an overview. Our flag is green, yellow, and red. Now, there's a big controversy. Well, you can call it controversy, but it is a controversy. People may not admit it's a controversy, whether it's red up on top or whether it's green up on top, and which one comes first. Well, first comes, this may surprise some people, but first comes red. But green is on top. Now, people say, well, how is that? How can red come first, you said, and then green is on top? How do we count this? Do you count from what's the first part? The lion's feet, from feet to head. You understand? From feet to head, you grow from the ground up, don't you? You understand? The earth is red earth, right? This is what Adamah and Adam mean in the Bible. It means reddish brown, right? And so that's the first color right there on the flag. So red is the first because there's a color teaching as well. You understand? If you look at the Ethiopian flag, embedded in that is the 4 primary colors of the spectrum. You understand? Is there the first 4 primary colors of the so-called chakra? You understand? Because this is based on high science, on divine science. True science and Bible does not contradict. Unfortunately, a lot of ignorant, envious, and jealous people have been telling you, you understand, that the Bible contradicts, or they're just ignorant. They don't understand, contradicts science. While true scientists, you understand, are becoming more and more aware that the Bible, when properly interpreted and not through a kind of fanatical or ignorant, you understand, Eurocentric point of view, it actually explains a lot of things that were not understood and goes along with, you understand, science. As they improve in their scientific investigation and also improve in their etymological linguistics, they're beginning to recognize the convergence of so-called science and religion. You understand? But anyway, the flag is green, yellow, and red. The green is on top. It's the 4th color, actually. Some people think it's the 3rd, but actually it's the 4th color on the flag. And red is on bottom, or red is the first. So from red, orange to yellow, the orange being the Anbessa, you understand, to Arunguade, or green up on top. The LOJ, the Lion of Judah, you understand, Yehuda Mo Anbessa, represents the king's house, carries the true cross and Moses' staff. Let's just move forward. Now, this is the prerequisite of the identity lessons. You understand? Because we recognize that as we have taught and shared the good news with many ones over the years, that you can talk about this and that, but people need to get grounded on who they are. You understand? How do we get here? You understand? Why did what happened? Why are black people in the situation they're in? They need it may seem like brutal facts, but they need the cold, hard truth. You know what I'm saying? And too many people like to sugarcoat it, or just make the white man is the devil, and but we're some disobedient so-called children that have given up our rulership to the so-called devil. I mean, this is the reality, the facts of it. Either way, if you look at it from a historical point of view, you're going to see that. If you look at it from a biblical point of view, you're going to find that one reality. We must know our true land. Know about this strange land that we're in. Know about the promised land according to Genesis 15 and 18. And the geography of the diaspora, you understand? In order to reach that point, some call it repatriation. We call it e-migration, not immigration, but e means out of, as e pluribus unum means out of many, we are one. Secondly, going over this once again, language, the linguistics, the gift of tongues that Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 9 to 10 speaks of. So he will turn to us a pure language, and we identify that pure language as the royal Amharic or Amarinya. You understand? Go read, study Zephaniah chapter 3 verses 9 to 10. And when it speaks about beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, think about that map that we showed you from Josephus' time, where you see Judados and the location of Judados. And when you understand where that river of Ethiopia is, that is prophetical fulfillment of what Zephaniah says, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. You understand? Even the daughter of my dispersed shall bring mine offering. And he would turn to us a pure language so we can call upon the name of Yahweh with one consent. Moving forward, flag. You understand? The flag is the banner of salvation. We got to learn the colors and the symbolic logic, as well as what Psalm 60 and 4 points us to in the word, where it says, thou hast given a banner to them that reverence that reverence. The root of Tafari means to be one who is reverence. You understand? One who's to be respected in the sense of the Bible speaks about the fear of the Lord. You understand? The hatred of what, you understand, the Almighty views to be evil. So that can't be by your own opinion. You understand? That can't be by your own feeling. See, that's a discipline. That's making our wills obedient. Making our wills, notice, making our wills obedient. It's not a feelings thing. You understand? People get offended because of the truth. It's not a feelings thing. Because he has given us a banner. See, they don't understand history. He was saying God and history moving. Now, what we need to understand is our divine heritage. You understand? How we must disseminate, you understand, the ancient Ethiopian culture and take into context that language, as the King of Kings teaches.